Welcome back, Pokefans, to the playthrough of Pokemon Soulstones 2 Time Wardens. So last episode we caught up with Maximilian, who used the sigil of antimatter to take control of Giratina. We then had to beat Giratina in a battle. Weren't too bad. Basically it just started off with like a reflector and light screen, but once that wore off it was quite easy. Then Maximilian got just absolutely just obliterated into nothing by Giratina. And then it was about to attack us, but Ethereal appeared and calmed him down. And yeah, so they've now found the settlement where Giratina's like cult members are, and he's opened up a portal, so we're going to head there and see what's going on. So the Eridanus settlement. The Eridanus settlement. It's been an eon since I last saw this place. When I was captured by the anomalies, I didn't think I would ever see this place again. Someone's coming. Halt. Who opens a portal to our settlement? Wait. Master Ethereal. Lord Giratina. Do my eyes betray me? Your eyes do not fail you, my friend. We were rescued and have finally returned to the arrival point. I'm at a loss for words, Master Ethereal. We thought you were dead, but here you are after all these years. Our people have been fighting against the anomalies in a war of attrition. While our forces have dwindled in strength and effectiveness, the anomalies seem to have just grown in number. For every one of our soldiers that fell, their numbers grew as they would infest and corrupt them and turn them against us. I'm aware of their ability to infest and corrupt our people. While within my torch chamber I saw many of our people be brought before me and infested. These creatures are not all mindless devourers as I once thought. Their more evolved ones are self-aware and intelligent. As they feed, they adapt and change. They become more cunning, almost diabolical. I've even seen some visit me in my torture chamber and have articulate conversations. They were seeking information from me. I don't know what their plan was, but there is more to them than I first anticipated. I never yielded though. Despite years of suffering under their treachery, my body may have been broken but my spirit remained intact. These creatures are truly horrific, but they aren't just restricted to the in-between. They've made their way to the Orion region too. Master Ethereal, what are your companions? Who are your companions, sorry? These are the people that saved us from our prisons, my disciple. It seems they come from the Orion region, but we didn't have much opportunity to discuss our histories as they came from seemingly nowhere. There was a third companion of theirs actually, but he actually attempted to hurt Lord Giratina using the antimatter sigil. The antimatter sigil, but how? The same thing. Everyone's wanting to know about this. And then you're going to have to explain it again. Not anymore, my friend. Seems that a lot has transpired in the time we've been trapped in this realm. I'm hoping our friends here can help fill in what has happened in the Orion region and the time matrix while we've been stuck here. I'll try my best to explain to you all that I know and I'm aware of. If you're the ones that saved Master Ethereal and Lord Giratina, you are heroes among our people. We don't have much to offer you in this inhospitable hellscape, but we have tried to make the best of our arrangements. Please take time to visit and speak with the other members of the Origin cult in this town. I'm certain many of them will be happy to tell you what they know and give you some background as to the history of our cult and of this place that we now call home. Master Ethereal, Lord Giratina, we have a shelter that's available to you. Thank you, my faithful disciple. Kara Pokedex, before you come speak to us in my tent, make your rounds around the settlement and speak to the other members of the cult that reside in here. I'm sure they may have some useful information to impart to you that will likely answer a lot of your questions. We also have healing facilities and a provisions vendor that can help restock your supplies if needed. To be fair, we definitely need to restock. If you want to learn more about the cult and what we're doing here, strangers, speak to the other cultists that are clothed as such in this settlement. Others are unlikely to have as much useful information to impart to you, but I shan't discourage you from making conversation. Pokedex, let's do our rounds and speak to as many of these cultists as we can. When you're done, let's meet back here in the centre of the settlement to discuss what we've learned. Oh, one last thing, Pokedex. In the event you need to make use of the PC, the storage technology earlier is now located in the same tent as the healing station. Okay. One of the finest warriors in the entire cult. I have an anomaly kill streak. I've managed to slay over 600 of them. 600 anomalies. That is very grindy. But I'm not sure his rescue matters all too much in the grand scheme of things. Master Ethereal was captured several years ago in a battle where we lost many of our brothers and sisters to the anomalies. We assumed all of them had been either killed or infested by the anomalies and summarily written them off. While his miraculous return has boosted the morale of some of my brothers and sisters, I'm not sure one person will do much to help the losing war we find ourselves in. Okay. He's clearly not filled with much joy, is he? Yourself a bliss spot terminal in the same place where a healing state. Oh, you've literally just told me the same thing I already knew. This really stems from the fact that Arceus and Creation Trio themselves have had their own disputes amongst themselves. And we use the Origin cult were their first children. When parents fight, children notice. What was the source of the dispute? Why have they been fighting with one another? It all boils down to their vision and role they had for the creation, humankind. Giratina's view was always that the gods should remain active participants in humankind's life, give us reason to remain in awe and in fear of their power. Arceus, Dialga and Palkia's preference were always to remain more passive and let humans find their own way in the world, give us the ability to be self-deterministic. And this dispute was enough for them to imprison Giratina in the in-between. It's a bit of an oversimplification, but essentially yes, Giratina's goal was to always maintain the balance of order and disorder, be an active steward of the multiverse and help control and influence the balance rather than letting it fall to one side. Arceus, Dialga and Palkia meanwhile felt that the multiverse was designed to be self-correcting and the balance would always be maintained. It might inch toward the side of good or evil, but it would never fall too far from the medium point, and it would certainly not linger there for a prolonged period of time. As time elapsed, Giratina grew dissatisfied and believed that remaining passive would be the undoing of their creation. Arceus insisted on patience and the conflict really just escalated from there. Okay, so we know all about that. The way out to Shadow Moon Valley is not available this time. Oh, okay. There's loads of anomalies. Oh, quest. Seen some of the most horrible nightmarish anomalies during my time in the in-between. I suppose you likely encountered your fair share. Thank you for clearing the rest of those things out from the temple. Oh, okay, so this was for the one we'd already done. I mean, oh, Serenite. That's really cool. Your Pokemon partners are similarly blessed and do not age while in the in-between. Imagine being in this world for 300 years. That is one long time. And there are a lot of people to talk to in here, hence why we're skipping quite a bit of it. Set up to lead this settlement, it was never a job I wanted, but a job I had to take on after Master Ezreal was captured. No, but if you're the Master, you thought you'd have had a bit more say than that. Right, I suppose we just go in the tents. The other world is the catch-all term used by the Origin cult to refer to all of the space between universes. Whether that's related to the time matrix, the in-between, or somewhere else undiscovered altogether. You're currently in the in-between. This is the part between universes and time matrix. It's the area off the beaten path, if you will. Our community have set up multiple settlements throughout the in-between to help facilitate our travels from one place to another. We have a teleportation master that will help transport you to the other places you visited across the other worlds. You may have seen him already, the fellow near the Hunch Crew. Look like what? You know, teal coloured. Oh, he's a time wraith. What? I thought the time wraiths were the ones that imprisoned Giratina here in the in-between to begin with. Some of them did, yes, not all. The time wraiths were a fraction that were created by the creation trio. Some of them sided with Dialga, Palkia and Arceus in the original conflict. Others, however, continued to align with Giratina, such as our teleportation master. Giratina didn't just roll over against time wraiths that betrayed him. There's a bloody conflict known as the Creation War, where many of the Origin cult and time wraiths on both sides of the war were killed. Unfortunately, we were outnumbered in the conflict, and when we two were exiled, both humans and time wraiths were sent here. The ones loyal to Arceus, Dialga and Palkia are the ones that sacrificed themselves to kill the Mind Link. Yeah, it's definitely starting to... Oh, choice specs. It's definitely starting to sound like Arceus and that the evil ones, which I was not expecting. Oh, you know, I didn't even notice that person. Oh my god, look at all this we've got to check. All these areas over here as well. We are nowhere near finishing this game. This is going to be a long playthrough. Oh, that's now open. No, that's the one that... Yeah, I know what I meant. That's Starmie. It's like Agatha. It's been trying to have a training dummy that you can use. That would be useful, but we're not going to do it for now. We've got a psychic egg. I'm definitely going to need some more of these. Do I have anything to sell? Well, I know I've got all this relic gold, but I can't sell that. You can't even buy tiny mushrooms off me. Do I have like nuggets or anything like that? Really need some money. I don't think we have anything. Oh, actually we've got 2 nuggets. 3 pearls. 4 stardust. Ooh, 3 star pieces, that's not bad. Well then I think, yeah, that's everything. Right, that should do. You might be wondering why we've lived in this realm for over 1500 years and yet we're not advanced very much. Okay. Dialga, Palkia and Giratina were all once part of Arceus, and he created them to assist in helping build all of reality. For this reason, he's often known as the first Pokemon, the father of all creation. To do this, he used the sigils, the emblems representing the power of time, space and antimatter to control and reign in. Focus them towards the common objective of ordering all of reality so that the balance could be preserved. When their work of creating all of reality was done, each sigil was placed in a distinct corner of the time matrix that was hereafter referred to as the time sphere. They simultaneously drew their power from the origin, but also kept the origin stabilised. When the conflict first began between Giratina and the other gods grew weary of the disputes and instructed the Time Race to use the sigil of antimatter to control Giratina against his will. But those laws, Giratina didn't just lie down and allow this to happen to him. Yet bloody conflicts, we already know about this. Both cults and Time Race were chose. In the end, the other side won the victors used the sigil to weaken Giratina as a final punishment and imprison him in the in-between. The cult and Time Race that aligned with Giratina defied were spared the initial punishment that Giratina was subjected to, but after losing Giratina, the conflict was largely lost. Shake Juice was established to prevent more bloodshed, but conflict persisted in smaller forms, creating a level of distrust and resentment towards those loyal to Giratina and those who opposed him. Over time, Arceus, Dialga and Palkia and their followers realised there would never be peace among our people again. We were given the ultimatum to be executed or exiled to the in-betweeners as well. Obviously many of us chose to be exiled and hoped to seek out Lord Giratina from his prison. After our exile, the way back to the Orion region was closed to us and we've been trapped in this realm ever since. Well, I'm not going to lie, but that doesn't sound very promising for us, does it? Because we're trying to get back to the Orion region. Right, The in-between's named as such because it relates to the space in between universes. It's thought to be a sort of bubble. Time actually connects all the universe bubbles to one another. In between is essentially everything else. I'm not gonna lie, but all of these people just seem to tell you the same thing. Like, normally I like to read this sort of stuff, but there's just that much of it. You'd literally have like an hour video of me just telling you the lore and nothing actually happening. Do you happen to have a Theraphor? I'll give you my Frostmoth. No. Thomas born Master Ezreal had already been captured. She's 400 years old. The Time Wraiths are our greatest weapon against the anomalies. Their entire purpose when they were created was to hunt down and bring those who would abuse time travel to justice. Sounds like the things out of Flash. Because whenever these reverberations were caused, an anomaly would be birthed. Further, when universes collide with one another, they emit a flash of energy that attracts anomalies to them like moths to a flame. Both these situations, Time Wraiths are often dispatched to make sure to hunt down the anomaly and eradicate them before they could feed on the temporal energy emitted and grow larger. However, many of the anomalies that reside in the in-between have been here for much longer. From before reality was created, manifestations of chaos and disorder, the Time Wraiths were only created by the creation trio after the fact, when they discovered these abominations. In many cases, these advanced anomalies, the ones that are older, stronger and more evolved, capable of resisting the Time Wraiths. A newly birthed anomaly can be easily dispatched by Time Wraiths. Large ones can actually defeat and consume the Time Wraith altogether. While we do have a handful of Time Wraiths on our side, many of them were consumed by the greater anomalies as we've continued to war against them. The most punishing thing though is that when a Time Wraith is consumed by an anomaly, it's guaranteed to trigger a rapid evolution process within that anomaly because of the substantial temporal power they absorb. The more advanced sentient ones were likely created because they were able to mass around and overwhelm a Time Wraith and consume it. So for this reason we have significantly cut out the use of Time Wraiths in our skirmishes against the anomalies, because it was a significant gamble and any time we lost one it would be a devastating setback for our war effort. If you haven't seen one of the more evolved ones, it's likely a good thing. The mindless lesser devourers can send a chill down your bones on a good day. The larger, more sophisticated one gives off this sinister vibe. They act as the sort of generals leading their war against us. Okay, that's good to know. I'm not sure if we have actually battled any of them. Remember the battle when we first lost Ezreal? Fought Nefarious Giratina. Legendary battle, however, we came out losing and we suffered many casualties. Ezreal was captured, but I estimate we lost 8% of the cult. Wow. That was the day I realised that Time Wraiths were a double-edged sword to use in battle. One of my close friends, the Time Wraith Icarus, fell to the anomalies. Remember one smaller anomaly consuming him and suddenly the tide of the battle turned against our favour when it evolved into the sentient, powerful creature that managed to eradicate large swathes of our army in a single blast. Leviathan was no longer some simple, lesser-minded devourer. He'd become sentient. Since that time, Leviathan has been responsible for killing 2 more Time Wraiths and growing ever larger and ever stronger. Been a while since we've seen Leviathan. Sharing the spoils with the rest of his armies. So is Leviathan going to be like the king of them? You have a letter for me? From who? It's a letter from my husband that passed away over 1500 years ago. Wow, that is a long time ago. I think he was all alone in his dying moments when he passed away, fleeing from the wrath of these anomaly atrocities. Wow. That would be pretty hard, man. Imagine having, like, not hearing from someone for 1500 years. Oh, Giga Potions, they're quite useful. And a max revive. Okay, I think that that's everybody. I'm pretty sure I've spoken to all of them. Yeah, we definitely spoke to you, because I remember you talking about us being responsible for saving your lord. Yeah, I think I remember talking to you as well, because you were saying about how the time wraiths can be consumed. You were the one that wanted to do a trade. Did we talk to one in here? See, I don't think there is a cult. Oh. Yeah, I spoke to you because I remember you talking about bubbles, and I said that a lot of these people say the same thing. Just making sure that don't let my looks deceive you. I'm 1200 years old. Okay, you say the same thing. Yeah, you talked to us about age. Yep, definitely spoke to you. I feel like it's going to be someone really obvious that I just never actually clicked on. Okay, in the healer, egg person, trainer. Bodies grow and become stronger over time, but we never actually age. No one's even quit to ravage our settlements. Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I've spoken to you, but it doesn't really look important what you're saying. So that might be everyone. What? There's other people I haven't spoken to. There's definitely no thingy here. You were the leader. Ah. Sometimes referred to as the arrival point. The reason that is the case because this is the place where Activity first arrived. To be honest, that kind of was self-explanatory. Yep, there we go. That's the last of the cultists. Let's go and speak to Kara and then move things along. Tell Kara about everything you know from speaking to the cult members in the settlement. This is unsettling. Apparently time doesn't pass the same way in the other worlds. That would certainly explain why I feel like I've been a Time Warden for a really long time, but still feel as young and vibrant as the day I became one. I think the more concerning thing though is that it seems that everything we knew about Dialga, Palkia and Arceus have not been as flattering as everything we've been led to believe. They are the ones responsible for condemning Giratina and a large subset of the cult to this forsaken place. When I hear what these cultists have said, I can't help but see why Giratina had so many members of the cult following him instead. His approach sounded far more reasonable, but all the stories we've heard and books we've read, they've all unfairly villainised Giratina when he was probably the most rational member of the trio. The other interesting bit of information is that this faction of the cult seemed to have all of the knowledge that we'd been seeking. With time not passing the same way in this realm, some of the surviving cult within this community are the ones that know all the unfiltered history of the conflicts. These people have been the first group that could properly articulate to us the impact the Great Fracturing had on the great cosmic web that Arceus and the Creation Trio first formed. When we destabilised the Origin by channeling all the power of the spires towards the Origin, we overloaded the Mind Link Prime with all this energy that caused it to explode and shatter the mechanism that Origin provided to keep all the other universe bubbles anchored in an orbit around it. At the time we felt it was our only course of action, but only now we fully learned the repercussions of the actions the Time Wardens took when we imprisoned the Mind Link Prime within our Soulstone pendants. What this also means is that if Angelo were to destroy ley lines and find a way to the time matrix, he would not only light a flare to attract anomalies to pierce the veil, but also might cause other universe bubbles to meld with the Orion region. I think this is already happening though. We have a number of temporal Pokemon that have managed to cross over into the Orion region. Agnes and her colleagues all thought it was just a curious scientific discovery or some sort of strange evolutionary exception. But we now realise that these things didn't just naturally appear, but are actually Pokemon from a different universe altogether. I'm just as surprised too. I just thought temporal Pokemon were unique evolutions. Agnes will definitely want to know this, that is, if we can find a way back to the Orion region. That aside, this place has time wraiths. I thought they'd all sacrifice themselves to weaken the Mind Link Prime before we perform the Great Fracturing. Some still live. Those ones are part of the faction that were loyal to Giratina and refused to participate in his imprisonment. I'll have to ask them as many questions as I can, especially about this apparent leader of the anomalies, Leviathan. Sentient anomalies, especially ones that are large and devious enough to know how to organise and direct the actions of others, is a truly horrifying thought, indeed. But for now, we should speak to Ezreal and Giratina about our next steps. Oh man, this has been so dialogue heavy, and when you've got a cold and a sore throat, it's really not great. Kara Pokedex, I trust you've had an opportunity to speak to the other cultists in the settlement. We have, for the first time in a long while, I feel a large weight off my shoulders. This burden of not knowing what to do or where to go and having to figure things out for myself. I mean, Pokedex has been there to help of course, but I became a Time Warden after we trapped the Mind Link Prime in my Soulstone pendant. I feel like Manaphy and I have just been wandering all of space-time aimlessly trying to be these kinds of intemporal detectives. I've had so many questions and I felt so lost because I didn't know who to ask or where to go. I felt so powerless, and then we came here and suddenly almost all of my questions were answered. The cult members that were still in service to Lord Giratina had all this knowledge to share. When the Great Fracturing happened and we trapped the Mind Link Prime, I always had some reservations about what sort of long-lasting impact that event may have had. At the time I didn't have a good understanding of the Time Matrix, the origin or any of this stuff. We were thrust into this role of being a Time Warden and we didn't even know what our duty was. We thought that as Time Wardens our role would just be to try to replace the role that the Time Raiders performed. We didn't even fully understand what that was at the time. Then through our travels we eventually got onto the trail of the Guild. We thought they were just some loosely affiliated brand of low-life criminals, but it turns out they're being led by this megalomaniac that wants to use the sigils to open a way to the Time Matrix and enslave the gods. Excuse me, what? Who is this person who wants to enslave the gods? A man by the name of Angelo Duplessis. The soldier that had fallen into the in-between with us was one of his friends. He was actually once part of the origin cult, the Orion region, but he was excommunicated because of his treachery. Kara recounts the interactions you've had, what you'd previously learned about the cult, your interactions with the anomalies and Angelo's goal. This is absurd. This Angelo fellow sounds like a lunatic. I've missed so much during my time in the in-between. I can hardly fathom the audacity of a mortal, no less a former cult member, wanting to use sigils to enslave the gods. The divisions sown by the original conflict within the cult has persisted for all these years, but in different forms. Not only did they fracture into different groups, this cult of time and this cult of space, but the leadership of these smaller cults can't even rein in their unruly membership. Well, the problem is Angelo is currently in the Orion region, whereas we're still trapped in here. Untrue, we do have a way out of the in-between now. The Sigil of Antimatter. What? We can use the sigil to get back to the Orion region? Yes, this is how I was first sealed away in this place. Couldn't break out of this place even if I wanted to. But how could the anomalies pierce the veil to escape from the in-between but you couldn't? The anomalies are attracted to the ley lines that cover a universe and they tend to chip away at it over time. However, they can never truly pierce the barrier unless there's a break in the matrix elsewhere that allows them to pour through. It seems that your adversary Angelo was instrumental in breaking that barrier in a part of the matrix, allowing them to pour through to begin with. So the ley lines were a perfect defence mechanism, but then with the ley lines withering from the use of Angelo's pulse emitters, they have started to weaken, allowing the anomalies to pierce the veil and enter the region. That seems to be the case based on what you've described. So then we need to get back to the region as soon as we can. Giratina, how do we use the sigil to get back? Wait, if you go back to the Orion region, so am I. Angelo sounds like an existential threat to all of creation. You will need help. I appreciate that, Ezreal. I'd welcome your assistance. I also realise I never formally thanked both of you for rescuing both Lord Giratina and myself from our prisons. Allow me to give you something as a token of our mutual appreciation. Oh, yes, we can mega evolve. Thank you, Ezreal, this will help us a lot. I shall also accompany you back to the region as well. Angelo is a threat because not only would destroying the ley line matrix result in the anomaly streaming through, but also with the Origin having been destabilised, if the ley line shattered, the bubbles of each universe might collide with one another. There's no telling what could happen if that was to transpire. As it is, it sounds like you've already identified one instance of the impacts with species proliferating in the Orion region. Previously didn't belong there, the temporal forms. With the destruction of the Origin, the universe bubbles are going to be in a state of freefall, because the great cosmic web that Arceus and the rest of my brothers created will have no central mechanism like the Origin to keep them anchored in orbit around it. Well, I believe Arceus and my brothers deserve their comeuppance for their betrayal and imprisoning me. I'm not as short-sighted as them to allow the anomalies to devour all of creation. The balance must be maintained. Well, now that we know what Angelo's capable of doing, we need to come up with a plan. While Angelo's certainly a problem, the damage he could do if he's successful in shattering ley lines and then allowing anomalies to pierce through will be severely mitigated if the current damage that has been done to the Great Cosmic Web is repaired. If the web is repaired, then the universe bubbles are no longer at risk of colliding with one another or causing foreign species to proliferate across universes. And how would we even do that with the damage the mind link caused when we first performed the Great Fracturing? I thought that there was no coming back from that. I believe I may have a means to repair the damage that has been done. The Orb of Creation. What's that? It's an artifact that Arceus, my brothers and I used to first design and conceive the great cosmic web that anchors all universes in stable orbit around the Origin. It's an orb that was taken from the sacred Origin itself when we first created reality. When the conflict first erupted between my faction and those lords of Arceus and my brothers, we stole the orb, kept it in the antimatter temple of the Orion region. The other faction did not realise that we'd stolen it, but during that creation war, the war between the factions of the cult, the antimatter temple of the Orion region was destroyed and sunk into the sea. And with that, the orb of creation fell down to the sea floor as well. With any luck, if that orb can be recovered, it might be the means that we can use to re-stabilise the Origin. You mean undo the damage the Mind Link Prime did when it exploded within the Origin? That'd be incredible. Indeed, but for us to go back to the Orion region, we need to open a portal that will take us within a close proximity of where the orb of creation may be. I do not know where the orb of creation will be exactly, but what I do know is that if it is anywhere, it will be within the version of the antimatter temple that sunk to the sea. Could use the powers of the sigil to help us find our way back to the Orion region and open a portal there. Then while we're waiting for it, let us make haste. Let us meet in the portal at the centre of the settlement. I can use the sigil. Oh man, this is long-winded. Alright then. We're like 33 minutes in and we haven't done anything. Allow me a moment to concentrate and find the way. With having been imprisoned in the in-between for more than 1500 years, memory of the Orion region won't be as accurate. I'm hoping I can determine the right coordinates to redirect the portal to. I think I found the location. I just need to place a portal on the nearest landmass I can find, given that this temple had fallen down to the seafloor. Ezreal and I shall go through first. Mount Titania. Meanwhile, back in the Orion region, Angelo and Christina meet with Dr. Leduc in the Corporation lab to learn about the results of his most recent experiments. Ah, Christina, you're here. Just our prisoners are enjoying their new accommodations. They're a bunch of mewling pests. Why did they get stuck with babysitting? They put up a good charade back in the heart of space, but without the god of antimatter or the god of space to empower them, they've come to realise they're powerless against us. Excellent, well, we should endeavour to keep them alive. We may have need of them later, particularly when we confront the gods. Understood now about that. How exactly do we plan on doing that if Maximilian fell in the heart of space and took the antimatter sigil with him? That's why I wanted us to meet with Dr. Leduc. He's some promising results for us. Thank you for your patience, Lord Angelo. With Dr. Linklater having discovered our true affiliations and siding with our enemy, we've not had her assistance to help us in trying to advance our work. However, we've managed to rifle through her research notes, being able to come across something very promising. Follow me. Good God, is that the anomaly from the Orion landfill? You know of this creature already, Christina? Yes. Heard about it from some of the other soldiers. Told me that something was recovered from the landfill. Other soldiers? Odd. Most of the personnel we dispatched to the landfill was sacrificed in the field. including Lieutenant Aki, who could have possibly known this. No, wasn't him. Obviously, they're dead. I mean, another soldier within HQ had told me something was being kept here. We'll see. I'm going to need to have a talk with this security guard. That is a very serious lapse in our confidentiality protocols. No one else should know about this creature being kept imprisoned, let alone tell another person about it. I'll take care of it, Dr. Leduc. Don't you worry, this guard won't be blabbering about this creature being kept prisoner anymore. Good. Okay, enough of that. Dr. Leduc, I was there when we captured this creature. I assume there was something else you wanted to show us. Indeed, behold. Obey. Serve sigil holder. Incredible. Creature is subservient to us. The temporal balls that we used to initially capture the creature just imprisoned it. Sigils are now allowing us to control it. Yes, sir. Managed to replicate the energy of the true sigils using the pulse emitter. These artificial ones allow us to compel and control the anomalies as if they were obedient Pokémon. These sigils are capable of doing everything the original ones are capable of doing. Then with these sigils we can open a portal to the time matrix from the alpha point coming up. It's possible, sir, however I would not recommend such a drastic course of action yet. Prematurely hunting down and confronting the gods within their own realm is a recipe for disaster. We need an army if we're going to breach the hallowed grounds of the time matrix and of the Origin itself. Army of anomalies. And where are we going to find more anomalies? Theory that a convergence event will occur within the next few weeks near Ursa village, merging of two universe bubbles. If ley line segments in this area are destroyed, it would create a massive tear all the way from Route 13A to Callisto Lake. With the destruction of the ley line segments that cluster around Callisto Lake, it will allow a stream of anomalies to pierce the veil. If we can bring them under our control, we will then be able to make our way to the alpha point and open the way to the time matrix. Ley line being destroyed would create a massive tear that covers Route 13A. That is a very wide area to cover. Not to worry, my lord. The sigils themselves are for you, but this power can be deployed to handheld bracelets that can be used by our grunts in the field. Okay. I was too preoccupied with the sigils to care about this mine at the time. Can accelerate exhausting the mine if we were to destroy the ley line node entirely. Right, I'm going to have to start skipping some of this because this is ridiculous. It's going to be like coming up to 40 minutes of just pure talking. Use the teleport within the corporation's main headquarters to go to Callisto Lake. From within the underwater base we have set up, I want you to deploy some ley line explosives. Okay, so basically they're just going to destroy the ley line in Route 13A. We've arrived. Been over 1500 years since the last step foot in this region. The air feels so pure. Depths of a torch chamber. I never thought I would ever see this place again. Yes, I'm fine. I just haven't had a cough in a very long time while I was in the in-between. My body got used to a very different environment and I suppose it's just taking some time for me to adapt. The shores of Mount Titania. What was formerly the Antimatter Temple was near this location, but during the original conflict, betrayed me and sought to imprison me. My temple was destroyed and swallowed by the sea. As far as I know, yes, it was never recovered during the conflict, and the faction that sided with never managed to find it. For I know it's somewhere within the ruins, and should we be able to recover it, it would be the key to saving the multiverse. How do I go diving? No, that's the question. Oh, I'm going to have to use some repels then. Whoa. What's going on with Celio? Oh, I've got 20 giga repels. Got some netballs. Ah. You're now able to communicate with your mind while underwater. That will come in handy. The ruins of the Antimatter Temple. This is where the Orb of Creation should be. Okay then. So we're basically just going to go looking in this temple. What is this altar? Incredible. I cannot believe that these are still intact. Shrines that we made. They can be used to heal your Pokemon. Oh, okay. I wonder if the recorded sequences still work though. Stand your ground, everyone. It's our job to defend this sacred temple. Okay. So by clicking on these, we get to find out. Seemed to be the recorded history of a few soldiers that were defending the temple. Indeed. I'd never seen that memory before, sadly. Giratina and I were occupied elsewhere on the battlefield that we never saw the fall of our temple. We should keep moving. Keep your eye out for other altars like these. They may hold other memories that could be informative. Why do I get a feeling that Ezreal is gonna basically die? Like, I feel like he's gonna suddenly age. I trapped within this temple, they're roaming the halls. Okay. Alright, well, I don't want to be battling. Ah, the school of fish Pokemon, man, do me head in. Yeah, I'm just going to discharge. That didn't do as much as I thought it would. Milotic looks incredibly cool. How have I just paralysed my own Pokemon? Yo! Milotic is nothing to be messed with. Okay, it's still fairy type. Ah, okay. To hell with you Arceus bootlickers. I've given you a final warning. When asking, do you surrender? Lord Giratina will carry you to the underworld for your transgressions against him and his people. You people would kill your own brothers and sisters, and for what? To continue serving in blind obedience. Guys that won't even bother to come to your aid in this battle. Okay. These Origin cult soldiers that served were soulless and cruel. How could noble souls like Sienna have descended from these people? Her ancestors were so heartless. Ah, I didn't realise I could go across that. Ah, okay, let's talk to you. How do I get around there? Oh, that's Clobbopus. Oh, got some more bone. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit stuck. Like, is this not the way? Just need to open my eyes a bit more. Victor, no, please, you must come with us. No, I can't, Liana. Take the children and run. These psycho plants won't do anything for their gods. Oh, that's quite sad, actually. Remember of an innocent family that broke up when they had to flee the cult's tyranny. Yeah, it's not looking good for the cult, is it? Ah, crap. School of Pokemon. Okay, we'll go that way. We just took out my champ. Wasn't my best idea, was it? Quad weak to sound. There's another spirit there for us. Right, this has got to lead to that item that we were looking at. Yeah. And then if I click this, it should open up where those temples turned into a trap. The soldiers were eventually overwhelmed and they destroyed the temple and sent it to the bottom of the sea just to prevent Dialga, Palkia and Arceus from taking the orb for themselves. Yeah, that's now opened up. I've actually lost count of how many people I've saved. But that's not the right way. Captain, the invaders have breached the temple. What do we do? Giratina has some pets he had kept leashed up in the innermost chamber of the temple. I wonder what it means by pets. Surely it's not about the anomalies. Giratina's pets, what the hell did Giratina keep? And if his temple ended up being destroyed and sent to the bottom of the sea, it seems like they ended up releasing these things after all. Oh frig, looks like I got my answer. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to find out what this is. Surely it's not anomalies. Oh. X special attack +2. Ah, this is the proper altar. So the creatures have been released as instructed, but they're not cooperating. Of course, not cooperating, there's the wild animals. We just need to make sure we evade these things long enough to allow them to hunt down the rest of the forces first. Can't allow the pets to break out of the temple. So they literally sacrificed themselves. This is tragic, watching these soldiers in their final moments of terror fleeing from whatever these creatures were that they released within the temple. Damn it, if it's those creatures again and they're still alive in here somehow. Well, yeah, we're about to find out what they are. Looks like. I've got a windstone. I don't think there's too much left in here. Do you have stats supporting the enemy forces position? Yes, Captain. Scouts have indicated that there are still a number of them standing by outside and sieging the temple. Good, that means all we have to do now is wait until we have a critical mass of Arceus forces storm the temple. The now pasteurised this temple make for choke points and they've realised that sending in too many of their forces down the hallways all at once creates gluts, makes them easier targets. Okay, let's just get the, like, summary at the end. Seems like this battle concluded in the grand finale with the temple being sent to the bottom of the sea, but unfortunately it seems like the explosion didn't kill Giratina's pets. Their growls are getting louder, I must be getting closer. Not gonna lie, but this would be terrifying. Knowing that you're coming up against these so-called wild animal pet things. I wouldn't be in no rush to get there. Right, I feel like there's gotta be... yeah, there it is. And so there's gotta be another person down here. Any last words, Giratina scum? You Mongols think you're all self-righteous. What do you people even fight for? Not before Lord Giratina's pets claim you first. The shadows conceal us. What? Where did they go? Find them. Find them. When the hell was that noise? Sir, look behind you. Can't believe footage of all this was recorded. These time capsules show the last moments of the defence of the temple. Right, well, I think we're... yeah, we're at the end. Because that was the last one. Oh, can learn Scald. Right then, let's find out the pets. Probably gonna have to save. Don't fancy traversing through all this again. Ah, Pokedex, help. This thing has us trapped in its tentacles. How is this thing so powerful? Since the orb of creation, this creature has consumed it. We need to tackle these things separately. I'll take the middle group. They look like anomalies. They are actually anomalies. See, I can live with that damage. And then I'll waste the turn healing Champ here. And same again, I think. We've roamed these things for 1500 years, it just said. What type even is it? Okay, it's water fighting. That didn't do as much damage as I thought it would. Alright, got rid of it. The largest anomaly left behind an orb. That anomaly had eaten the orb of creation. It explains how it became so strong. Lucky it was only a formerly small one that had eaten this orb. I can only imagine if it was a large one that had consumed it. That battle would have been significantly more difficult otherwise. This artifact contains a very large source of temporal energy, and consuming it is what elevated its power so astronomically. I suddenly feel a bit ill. We should get back to the surface soon. Hold on, small one. What do you mean small one? How do you know it was a small one? Where did that anomaly come from to begin with? There's no ley lines near here, are there? Because Giratina kept some pet anomalies in this temple. They were released by some of the soldiers during their final hours of the creation war when they were fighting off the invading Origin cult faction that had sided. How did you know that? I watched the historical recordings that were documented in the shrines. Those poor soldiers were fighting for your cause, no longer you had some pet anomalies of your own that were kept in this temple, were set loose on the invading faction's soldiers. The temple was then destroyed and deliberately sent into the sea to make sure these creatures died alongside the invading faction's soldiers. Here I initially thought that your faction had been villainised unfairly by the other side. Turns out you're no better than them either. Your entire faction have been keeping these creatures as pets in here, ready to be loosed in an emergency to help win a battle. Ezreal, is this true? It is, but it's not what you think. Oh really, it isn't? Then do tell me, what should I think? As far as I can tell right now, neither your faction nor Dialga, Palkia and Arceus faction were innocent. Both sides of the war resorted to despicable actions to advance their own agendas. They weren't pets. These creatures were captured by my people and we were attempting to study them. I understand you may have reservations about the actions some of our soldiers took, but neither Lord Giratina nor I were here to defend the temple in its final hour. The anomalies that we had stored away within the temple were smaller creatures, and they likely expected that by destroying the temple, the anomalies would die alongside the destruction of the temple. It seems this particular creature had managed to survive this long down here by consuming the orb of creation and was controlling the others. Okay. I'm no stranger to duplicity. I too dealt with two warring factions where at some point I had to genuinely ask myself if I was fighting for the right side. And to do that we will need to have unlikely allies. I'm sorry that we may have betrayed your trust, but can we please return to service? I suddenly feel very fatigued. If I will need to return to service in the closest town anyway. Once we're close to civilization we can attempt to re-establish contact with some of our friends. Discuss what to do next from there. Pokedex has an exit out of these temple rooms to the south end. Alright, yeah, I think we end the episode there then. Next episode we restore the web or whatever it was with the orb of creation. I genuinely don't know, I'm a bit bamboozled now. But yeah, we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the game, I suppose. But judging from the map, we've definitely still got quite a lot to go. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.